Hello, Path of Exile community. A few days ago, I made a Reddit post about Thunderstorm and some quite neat interactions, which I wanted to showcase in this video. The past few days, I spent some time rebuilding this character, trying out different setups, ascendancies, and supports. And what I have right now is the version that feels the most fluent to play and is quite tanky and overall more straightforward. My earlier assumptions from the Reddit post, some of them, they are not wrong, but caused problems. So what I want to do is just quickly go over my current setup, talk about the interaction, and yeah. One thing, I'm not a content creator. I've never done a build guide in my life. I might say things that are either wrong or not optimal, so please forgive me. And I'm always happy if other people take an idea and build on top of it. So please feel free, take this, in my opinion, quite cool interaction and take it to some new heights. My character is not that high budget anyway, so there's probably a lot of room for improvement. So the basic interaction is the following. Thunderstorm is a new spell skill gem introduced in 0.4, which has a debuff that drenches enemies, and drenched enemies are more likely to be frozen or shocked. Now, this skill gem is supposedly for plant skills to improve the plant skills. Now, the drench debuff is nice for another reason, because there's also a new support gem, Shock Conduction 2. This makes it so that every hit from supported skills always shocks drenched enemies. Now this is quite insane, and I would say it's definitely getting nerfed in the future, because it's guaranteed shock is just quite strong. Yeah, but whatever. What this enables is that because we shock with every hit, we can use static shocks, which trigger, so supported skills trigger static shocks when shocking an enemy. We always shock, so we always trigger static shocks. Static shocks is a spell that has flat lightning damage, itself cannot shock, and basically attaches the static shock to a target and then pulses damage to surrounding targets. There's a second support that does a similar thing. It triggers coursing current, whatever, when hit from a supported skill's shock, so we always shock, so we always trigger this. And this also has a flat damage. It's a projectile spell that chains and you can glide with terrain. With drenched targets, I'm sorry. So what this enables is we can cast these support gems, say that they, in this case, cause enemies to become a source of lightning and send pulses towards nearby enemies. From what I've tested, this also hits the target that it is attached to, which is the whole basis of this interaction. Before I invested into this character, I tested this, and I'm 99% sure that when I attach static shock and also coursing current to a single target, these skills will always hit the single target. So it's not just attaching to a single target and then chains to other targets, but it also attacks itself with this. There's a second support that does a similar thing. It triggers coursing current, whatever, when hit from a supported skill's shock, so we always shock, so we always trigger this. And this also has a flat damage. It's a projectile spell that chains and you can glide with terrain. What this enables is we can cast our Thunderstorm. We instantly, there's also no delay, we instantly drench enemies, and then we also instantly shock them, and then we instantly trigger static shock and coursing current. These have an internal cooldown, so this has a cooldown time of 0.2 seconds with 6 uses. This has a cooldown of 0.4 seconds and 3 uses. That means if I just cast one Thunderstorm, this one Thunderstorm can hit a single target every 0.5 seconds, and if there's a group of monsters, I can hit any target every 2.35 seconds. As far as I know, these numbers cannot be modified. So we cannot hit more often with this, with a single Thunderstorm. If I cast multiple Thunderstorms, for example, on a single target, each Thunderstorm individually triggers Static Shock and Crossing Current. So that means we can hit not every 0.5 seconds, but every 0.25 seconds, because with 2 Thunderstorms, we have double the hits. I tested this very roughly on a single target boss, where I basically just constantly cast the storm and then counted the hits over time, and it came out that with 2 storms I have double the hits. I then chose Commiserate and Overcharge as my supports. Now, it is pretty hard to tell in-game what scales this number and what doesn't. Now, obviously, these are linked to the gem level. They copy the gem level of Thunderstorm, so they scale. The basic version has 1 to 4 lightning damage, and now it has up to 300, roughly. But there's no tooltip for any of this. And even in path of building, it's, in my opinion, there are a few errors in calculating the damage. For example, this is a trigger spell, but when I take a trigger node on the tree here, for example this, triggered spells deal increased damage, it does nothing for the number in PoE. And that is true for... Oh, I just saw that I have a random node allocated here. That is true for multiple damage increases on the tree. They don't get calculated in Path of Exile and Path of Building, and therefore it's quite hard to tell what exactly increases the damage. But just some common sense. Obviously, Lightning Mastery with +1 lightning skills would scale Thunderstorm and then increase the damage number here. I assume something like Controlled Destruction, which gives more spell damage, would scale this. Another trigger support gem that was introduced this league is Electromagnetism. I think it was introduced this league. This is actually pretty nice as well. Let me just put it here. In theory, it's very nice. It's just another damage multiplier, but there's a problem with it. So if I cast it, it's on shocking an enemy. It pulls if there's 3 shocked enemies, it pulls all of the enemies in the area together, which is quite nice. It's nice defensively, pulling things to but there's a problem with this because it consumes the shock. And consuming a shock means that the enemy is immune to that debuff for 1 second. So if I cast this and I pull together the enemies, that's cool, but I cannot shock them for 1 second, and it's just a huge damage loss because I can't trigger my other gems anymore. So I don't use this anymore. I chose these 2 instead. And this is pretty nice for 2 reasons. First of all, it increases our magnitude of shock the magnitude of shock I inflict. So if I don't have these, I think the shock is around 26%, and with these it's I think 46% or something. So this is just a damage increase on the enemy for all skills I use. What it also does is that when I inflict an ailment, let's do it this way around, when I inflict a shock, it's reflected back to me, and it has increased magnitude, so I get shocked. In this one, when inflicting an ailment, remove that ailment from yourself. And I tested that when I use both, when I don't use this gem, the remove gem, I am constantly shocked with a 46% shock or something. If I put this in, I'm never shocked, literally never. There's also no like bouncing on off or anything. I'm just never shocked. It instantly applies and removes, I assume. So not only does it make me shock immune, it also increases the magnitude of my shock from roughly 26 to 46%, I think, if I remember correctly. Now, this is, for the basic interaction. The way I scaled this is I'm going Stormweaver here, with Arcane Surge, which is just cast speed, and Mana Regen, which doesn't do anything for the trigger spells. But Stormweaver enables Archmage quite nicely. And Archmage does increase the trigger of these spells. So if I turn this off, again, I can't see it here, but in path of building, it increases the damage of these supports. So basically, this does, while active, causes your non-channeling spells to cause additional mana and deal extra lightning damage. This is not a channeling spell. This is just a spell. So this definitely increases the damage. It also shows up in Path of Building. And I just trust it because it also feels much stronger with Archmage and without it. There's definitely a very, very noticeable difference between Archmage and no Archmage on these support spells. So it's Thunderstorm with Archmage. Now for general mapping, I just use Thunderstorm all the time. The other cool thing about Stormweaver, this patch, is +2 limit for elemental skills. Thunderstorm is a limit skill, and it has a limit of 1, so usually I can only cast 1. This is bad for multiple reasons. The first one is it straight up reduces the procs because I can only hit a single target every 0.5 seconds. So increasing the limit increases the hits I get per second, and that increases the triggers per second. It's also nice for Orb of Storm. I'm using Orb of Storm with Unleash. I just run around the map usually and then cast my Orb of Storm, which helps greatly with the clear, and it's very quick to cast as well, right? Another thing I use is Mana Tempest, just straight up more damage buff. Just a quick Tempest increases my damage quite a bit. Let's see the Thunderstorm number, 3k, 4k, so it's like roughly 30% more damage or something. This does not increase the trigger spells, by the way. This is only for empowered spells. And this is for mana costing spells. These don't cost mana, so they are not increased. But it's still a buff to everything else. It's a buff to Thunderstorm itself. It's a buff to Orb of Storm and my Castle Ailment skill, which I will talk about in a minute. Yeah, so this is just a nice buff overall. Orb of Storm, this. Now I use a Frostbomb occasionally. I don't know. I just like the skill. It's a little bit of exposure for maps. I don't always like to cast a big spell to inflict exposure. So I just like run around and do this, right? Boom. Elemental Weakness for bosses, very good curse to reduce the resistances. I use Mana Remnants just to gain some mana back. I don't have a lot of crit chance. I'm not a crit build at all. My crit chance is... oops. Where is it? Yeah. My crit chance is roughly, I don't know, 11% or something. Where is it? I am blind. It's 12.5% crit chance. It's very low, but there are so many hits. This comes with a 9% crit chance. This comes with a 10% crit chance. There are so many spells that even though I'm not a crit build, I constantly crit something to trigger Mana Remnants, for example. In earlier iterations, I also used not Stormweaver, but Chronomancer, and then I just took the chance to gain Arcane Surge on crit. It's 10% chance on crit, and I have 10% crit chance, so it's a quite a low chance, and it was constantly up. So with this many hits, it's always up. Now, what this also enables, because everything shocks always, it's very nice for cast on ailments. Cast on ailments gains power when I freeze, shock, or ignite. I don't really freeze, I constantly shock, I don't really ignite. I could probably improve this a little bit if I got some extra fire damage somewhere. Yeah. The only thing I took for freeze, which is like basically never happening, I just took some Arctic Armor because I had some spirit left. And put, freeze and Frost Nexus on it. And also Embitter, or whatever it's called. This makes it so that all of the Archmage damage, which is lightning, gets converted to cold instead, so that the Arctic Armor, where is the damage, cold damage? So if I take this out, I deal lightning damage and cold damage. And with this, I only do cold. The idea behind it is that maybe if I get hit by a melee attack, I freeze an enemy, which is nice defensively, and it also, in theory, adds another cast on ailment, like it increases the power for this, but it so rarely happens. If I run around like in a level 50 zone or whatever, and anything hits me with a melee attack, it instantly gets frozen. But in a tier 15 map, nothing gets instantly frozen. It's just, I don't know, I just kind of liked it. It creates some chilled ground sometimes. It can freeze enemies. Like, yeah, just a little something. Definitely not needed. But yeah, the most important action interaction is also cast on Ailment, because I'm using Lightning Conduit, and because I shock so much. By the way, on Orb of Storms I put another shock conduction, just to constantly shock with this as well. Because I shock so much, I gain a lot of energy for the cast on Ailment. I'm using Lightning Conduit, I don't know, it scales with shock effect, and I'm currently having 45% shock effect, so that's quite a bit of more damage. It's 10% more damage per 5% shock effect. So if I have 45, that's 90% more damage with this specific skill. Then I also have quality for 20% lightning. That's quite a lot of damage. I don't know if that's optimal, whatever. I just like to use it. Some early focus because I don't shock with this. Not sure if this is optimal. I just used it for the more damage, probably like concentrated effect or something could work as well. Maybe it's even better. And then just some meta supports to gain more energy. On the tree, I took some energy gain as well. This, and this. And yeah, that's the build basically. I will play some. I've played some videos in the beginning of how this plays, and it's basically just run around, cast a Thunderstorm like this. I have a limit of 3 on this, so I can have 3 up at a time, which means my clear is much better. My single target is much better. Yeah, I chose a wand and a scepter just to get the spirit. I'm not an expert in this game. I don't have a lot of currency. I have no idea how to get enough spirit to have like cast on Ailment plus Archmage. I don't know. Whatever. I like this. It's also giving me more mana and mana regen, which is quite nice. So as an Archmage character with damage taken from mana, more regen and more mana is always good. Oh, and another thing, the Fulmination skill on the scepter. Where is it? Here. This, while active, the first time any skill hits a shocked enemy, that skill also hits other shocked enemies in your presence, up to a maximum. So this is basically whenever I hit with any skill for the first time, it hits a second time and deals, what's this, 68% less damage. Yeah, it's a little something. It helps with clear. It's a bit more damage. It's whatever. I put some shock conduction on this as well, just because why not? Lightning Mastery, yeah. This one, Galvanic Field, is, I don't know, I tried this. Basically, it's a pre-buff. I cast it, and then I get this buff. And when I shock an enemy yet now, I lose this, and the Galvanic Field gets attached to an enemy and pulses. It's trash, let's be honest. It's garbage. It's another button to press, it deals very little damage, and has, I don't know, no real benefit in my opinion. It gives a nice buff. Buff grants more chance to shock, but I'm constantly shocking anything anyway, so I don't need more chance to shock. I always shock everything. Yeah, let's open a map real quick, just one more time. It's a random tier 15. Let's do it like this. Sure, whatever. This even has alley res, okay. Okay, so I can cast my Mana Tempest. It's up for a few seconds. Yeah, it's already gone, so I just occasionally cast it. But with this, yeah. All I did was put one Orb of Storm down, which already basically clears the pack, and then cast Thunderstorm. Whenever I cast Thunderstorm when I'm near these Orb of Storms, they also cast their Chain Lightnings. Let's see, yeah, I just pressed Thunderstorm here, nothing else, just Thunderstorm, 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 Thunderstorm. And the one thing I totally forgot to say earlier, I'm not using this Keystone, Wild Surge Incantation. Now, if you look at this damage, there's a pack. All of the damage is coming from the supports on the Thunderstorm. Everything is coming from Static Shocks and Coursing Current. I had this before, and it's still 50% more damage for the Thunderstorm as well itself. Like, it's not bad. It also makes it cost less, which it costs 300 mana, and making it cost half that is nice, no doubt. But the less duration, I don't love it. I don't love it. It's also 2 passive points, and my mana regenerates quick enough anyways, even if I constantly cast Thunderstorm. I don't lose any mana at all, and this is with 300 mana cost. I did not feel the need to take it, but it's definitely, I can definitely take it if I have more points. I'm also low level, I'm level 88, so maybe in the future I will take it just to increase the Thunderstorm damage a little bit. But it's a very, very comfortable mapper. Run around, play some orbs, cast some storms, Mana Tempest. And the chains, this is the way. The chains from these currents, they go quite far. So they chain 6 times, which is already quite a lot. And they reach quite far as well. Well, that's a rare. A bit more tanky. Whoops. Got some damage there. Didn't pay attention. It's very comfortable. It's also quite tanky, honestly. I'm not paying attention here right now because I'm also talking and I'm not used to do that. Let's just run around the map real quick. With stationary encounters, it's also, I can place down my ally weakness, maybe a Frostbomb occasionally, but it's so easy because the Orb of Storm, I place it and then cast my Thunderstorm and just auto targets everything. Very, very comfortable, quite decent damage. It's definitely not super OP, but that's probably also because my gear is not crazy. It's not bad, but it's also not super OP. I don't have any unique jewels that give me something. Oh, by the way, I took some cooldown recovery notes. Now this is pure napkin math, but what I came up with, if I hit every 2.5 seconds with my storm, with 2 storms every 2.5 seconds, I tested this roughly, and it's probably true that I hit a single target every 2.5 seconds, 0.25 seconds, I mean. But the cooldown on this one, Static Shock, is 0.4 seconds. Now, with a little bit of cooldown reduction, that's 21%, that's it goes down to 0.3. Now, I wish I could have a little bit more. Instead of 0.3, maybe go down to 0.25, just to increase, or let's say, just align my hits with the triggers better. So a little bit more cooldown recovery goes a long way, I think. But as I said, pure napkin math, just... I'm not a pro at this game at all. Oh, there's an abyss. Let's clear this real quick. Oops. Alright. Yep, that's the build. Oh, it's not cleared at all. Just Thunderstorm, occasional Orb of Storm. It's probably possible to put some electrocution in the build somewhere. I haven't looked into that. I haven't looked into more niche interactions overall at all. So there's, as I said in the beginning, lots and lots of room for improvement, but it's so comfortable to play. Can I get to the boss? Still no boss. There's the boss. And it's dead. Alright. Yep, that's the build. I think it's very cool. I think it's very smooth to play. And a lot of fun, a lot of... it's very beginner friendly as well. It's not very button heavy. There's the boss. And it's dead. Alright. Yep, that's the build. I think it's very cool. I think it's very smooth to play and a lot of fun, a lot of... it's very beginner friendly as well. It's not very button heavy. It's just... I think it's a well-rounded build. Yeah, let me know what you think. This is, as I said, the first time I'm making a build guide. Not looking forward to do it again. But yeah, thank you very much for all the upvotes in the original post. And maybe you stayed till the end and listened to me rambling about this quite neat interaction. So yeah, have a good day. Bye bye.